Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at the pitching for today, the 19th of May. It is Monday. We do have a 9-game main slate for us this evening. We do have a couple of very interesting weather spots. Our weather station was updated late last night and I have a feeling an update today is going to change things quite a bit. I think some of the risk in St. Louis a little lower, but we may not see a full game. And this Minnesota game, I believe the risk has skyrocketed since late last night. So they're really going to need to pay attention to all of that. With that said, this is a first look at pitching options on the slate. I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you do play on FanDuel, I will cut my pool into a half or even as a third. Pricing isn't as tight. You don't have to be as creative. It allows you to get the stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. So, with that said, let's just jump into this slate. Very interesting. Nothing's a slam dunk, I don't believe, but actually let's go game by game. Make it easier on a 9-game slate. Houston, Tampa Bay. Now, the normal adage is that I'm playing left-handed pitching against Tampa Bay. That may be the case here. I just don't feel that great about using Colton Gordon. Now, he did make 85 pitches in his debut, so there is some length there. Didn't really pick up any strikeouts. Struggled a bit, allowed plenty of base runners. I'm going to have to dig in a little bit more into Colton Gordon to see if it's still a viable spot. But left-handed pitching against Tampa Bay has been a profitable thing so far this season. With that said, I do think there are a couple Tampa Bay bats that are in play against Gordon. So, again, I am going to have to dig in deeper before I get onto the Colton Gordon train. Ryan Pepiot, definitely somebody I like, somebody I think is in play for us this evening. K-prop of 5.5, juices on the under, which puts him at 5th best K-prop on this slate. He's plus 155 to earn the W, which is ahead of somebody like Sonny Gray, who we will talk about in a little bit, ahead of even Robbie Ray, who is plus 175. So Pepiot kind of lined up for a solid shot at a W. I think he's in play for us. I have to dig into some of his numbers to see. He is going to face a left or a right-hand heavy lineup, so that'll kind of dictate some things for us as well. Luis Castillo, is this a time where I'm getting on the Castillo train? Yes. It's because he's facing the White Sox. Minus 110 to earn the W, which surprisingly is the second best on the slate. Dust has the 4th best K-prop at 5.5. It's basically a pick'em. He's a minus 205 favorite. So Seattle is the second highest favorite on the slate. Just everything lines up for Castillo, aside from the fact that he's pitching on the road, where he has not been great the last couple of seasons, I do believe. Isn't the greatest upside pitcher out there. Winds blowing across the field in the 50s, so it's cool enough. Luis Castillo going to be one of the more popular options. Let's refresh our DS just to see if we have any ownership projections, and we do. Looking like the 3rd highest owned pitcher roughly at this point in the day. That will definitely change over the next 7 hours or so. But we are definitely using Luis Castillo. Minnesota, Cleveland. Now, this is a pretty big weather spot from my understanding. If we can get this game going, and we're going to see 5 to 7 innings, if not a complete game, Bailey Ober and Logan Allen, both very much in play for us at this point. Wind is blowing straight in, I believe, from center field. The best of winds blowing in pretty strongly. Bailey Ober, 4.5 on a K-prop, juice on the over. Kind of one of his lower ones that we've seen recently. Logan Allen 3.5. It's basically a pick 'em. Game total 7.5 juices on the under. So this is tied with the Kansas City-San Francisco game for the lowest total on the slate. Twins minus 142 favorites. Everything just lines up for pitching to be strong. Ober was very strong against Cleveland the first time he faced them. Strikeouts weren't there, but it is what it is. Strikeout numbers are stronger at home. Walks are lower. Just a lot of things in play for Ober. Logan Allen, the Twins, without Correa and Buxton, you take those two out against left-handed pitching, and the Twins lineup is super weak against left-handed pitchers. I want to be able to use a ton of Logan Allen, so I'm hoping we get some positive news about the weather, or at least the timing to go with it. Baltimore and the Brewers. Obviously, the Orioles have struggled offensively, but I just don't think that's enough for me to consider Quinn Priester. Just one earned in each of his last two starts, but still, coming off of a solid one earned performance, and he still put up just 12 fantasy points. I'm just not going to go to Quinn Priester. Somebody does, and that beats me tonight, so be it. I do have some interest in Dean Kramer. 21 plus in 2 out of his last 3 starts. Milwaukee's offense kind of woke up a little bit against Minnesota yesterday, but then they fizzled out again. It wasn't a huge run-scoring performance, so maybe we can see their offense continue to struggle. Kramer is plus 160 to earn the W, which is just behind Pepiot, better than Sonny Gray, better than Robbie Ray, better than Chris Bubic. I'm not sure what the Minnesota game's pitcher wins odds are. That is not on the board at the moment, but I think Dean Kramer is in play, as gross as it feels. K-Prop 4.5, juices on the under, though. Game total of 9, juice to the under, which is a little annoying. But that was the same case with Tampa Bay game as well. Game total of 9, juiced under. I am going to consider Kramer. He may end up being the last man into my pool. A lot of that's going to depend on the weather situations, if we're going to have to eliminate guys due to that or whatever. Next game, Sonny Gray against the Detroit Tigers. Tigers, I believe, still have the best record in baseball. I'm going to bring that up on my other monitor, but Sonny Gray has not been sharp over the last handful. One great start against Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh averaging the fewest runs per game in baseball. So that is an issue. And yes, Detroit does have the best record in baseball, having scored the 4th most runs on the season as well. Obviously, Sonny Gray, really strong. Numbers are better at home, and I believe they were dominant at home last year as well. Weather, obviously, we talked about some rain, and the wind blowing in, that's going to help pitching as well. Sonny Gray, going to be one of the top options as long as we can see, 5 to 7 innings plus in this game before the weather hits. K-Prop of 5.5 juice on the over, which is tied at the top K-Prop on the slate. Plus 165 to earn the W. The Cardinals are minus 162 favorites. Montero doesn't have any props yet, or didn't prior to starting this video, but with the weather situation and how strongly it leans towards pitching, I do have to consider him. He's been kind of all over the place. Not a big K guy, but he did strike out 8 in his first start of the season, so that does show some upside. St. Louis, not exactly a huge K team, but again, the weather has a chance to bring Montero into play. So he is going to be in, as gross as that feels. Coors Field, what should we do? Kyle Freeland, I think traditionally the last handful of years has been better at home. Not this year so far. Wasn't great against Philly the first time. Limited runs, but just not a good spot. I'm just not going to rely on Kyle Freeland against the Phillies. I will be going to Christopher Sanchez, though. It is a pitcher. The pitcher is taking on Colorado. I will be playing him. Could he pull a Zach Gallen? Sure, maybe. But I still like what we have going on here. Went for 20 fantasy points in the first meeting. Didn't get the W, so missed out on a near 25 fantasy point performance. Has enough K upside. Walks have been an issue. They've kind of crept up the last few starts, which obviously is a worry. But still, 2 earned runs or less in all but 1 start this season. That means 7 of 8 starts with 2 earned runs or less. He is tied at the top with a K-prop of 5.5, juice to the over. He is minus 120 to earn the W, while Philadelphia is a minus 250 favorite. Pretty easy to go with Sanchez. I assume he's one of the highest. Yeah, he and Gray over 30% as of right now. Kansas City, San Francisco, Robbie Ray. The curious case of Robbie Ray. The last 4 starts have been strong. 5 out of the last 7 have been pretty strong as well. Obviously volatile. Can give up some walks. Looking at his home numbers, his strikeout rate is a little lower, but his walk rate is much lower. Allows fewer home runs at home. I think he's just pitching more to contact in this ballpark, which is fine because we want some quick innings, easier innings on his pitch count. He's one of those guys that can rack up pitch count early when he's all over the place. 4 innings, 98 pitches, 93 pitches. He's been better the last handful. I think we go with Ray, even though Kansas City's not a huge strikeout team. Ray's K-prop is at 5.5, juice to the over. He's plus 175 to earn the W. On the other side, Chris Bubic, plus 180 to earn the W. K-prop of 5.5, juice to the under. I don't know what San Francisco's strikeouts numbers are against left-handed pitching, so I will have to dig into that. But Bubic has been pretty impressive so far this season. His walk rate does jump when he's on the road, but still, just 1 earned run allowed over the last 3 starts, 1 or fewer in 4 out of the last 5. So very steady, and of course this ballpark plays to pitching, so I will gladly play Chris Bubic this evening. Angels, I have no interest in Soriano. He's had 2 solid starts over the last 3, but he just generally allows way too many base runners for me. The threat of big innings is always worrisome, and in Sacramento, we can see some offense explode. Now, with that said, I am considering JT Ginn. Big reason, the Angels strike out an absolute shit ton. Get the updated here. Check this every single day. The Angels moved to second most in baseball as Colorado passed them, thanks to a big K performance yesterday. With that said, the Angels still striking out a ton, and that is perfect. We're going to play JT Ginn for some upside. Last start against Texas wasn't the greatest. Went on the IL. I want to dig into kind of his pitch counts, etc. So he could be under some sort of pitch count limitation based on his last start. Gonna have to find out more, but right now I want to play JT Ginn. Don't really have any interest in Soriano, like I mentioned. Arizona, LA. Brandon Pfaadt, somebody that we've played plenty, and he absolutely shut down the Dodgers 2 starts ago. His best start of the season. Am I going back there? The answer is probably not. I'm just not going to make it a habit of picking on the Dodgers all that often. And Pfaadt on the road this season has been absolutely atrocious. 7 home runs in just 20 1/3 innings. 7 home runs. Nearly a 1.6 whip, allowing hitters hit over 300 against him on the road. A lot of splits just tell me to stay away. Landon Knack has shown upside, but that was against Miami. Do we want to use him against an Arizona offense? I don't. I think Landon Knack has talent, but do we want to use him against Arizona? And the answer for me is generally no when it is a right-handed pitcher. But there we have it. There's our first look at pitching on this slate. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, get the alert anytime we drop videos here at TFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc. I will put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. And as always, best of luck, everybody.